Critical Rollback.
Where beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
And Bal goes for the cheapest shots.
I have to. My name is Bal.
We're so little... and I'm Jana, and so little is happening that Bal just had to go for the cheapest shot imaginable.
Yeah, doesn't that make you feel like this is one of those cases where having to pay for the outtakes might make the joke better because you get to hear me be silent for 3 minutes trying to come up with a joke, and then that's what comes out of it. It's not even worth it.
You do need to add my elevator singing, so elevator music singing. That's how the joke works.
It's that much thought, and then it's the worst, pun.
Oh, well. You know what's not the worst, though?
What is not the worst?
We are out of the time paradox.
The time
sort
paradox. I mean, kind of. I think that, in the sense that I have to edit all those episodes that are going to come out in a weird order. So now you audience member, are going to be in the time paradox, or we're out of it.
We're out. Everything after this, bar some other disaster, is going to be strictly linear for us. For
knock
you,
on
though.
wood, knock on wood, knock on wood.
Yeah. For you, though, dear listener, just to catch you up on this grand file fucking of 2021,
which we have left behind.
You're listening to episode 10, recorded on February 20th, 2022. Previously,
2022.
Yes.
Not to be confused with 2/22/22. In 2 days, it's going to be 2/22/2022.
Sure. No. Oh, in your weird date format. Yes, fine. Whatever.
Yes. It's a lot of twos. And it's going to be Tuesday.
It is?
Yeah, it's going to be Tuesday, the 22nd of February, 2022.
You want to get married real quickly? Just for the joke?
Why?
Because this being a Tuesday just makes it additionally ridiculous. It's never going to happen again.
It's shush.
Fine.
There will be other weird time things to happen.
Anyways, can we, I was about to tell the people about how this is episode 10, which is recorded in February, but the last episode they listened to would have been episode 9, which we recorded as a Christmas special.
Yeah.
And published. These episodes will probably be published in June or something.
In June or something. Once I'm out of my thesis brain situation. People have been asking me questions all week, and my brain's just in such a stress mode for the thesis that I've just been who? What? I've been saying that I'm pretty sure everyone in my workplace thinks I'm fully just stupid.
I'm pretty sure people in your workplace are used to college students in thesis mode.
Yes. I've just been operating everything in my brain. Dear listener, I have 2 jobs in a thesis, which I'm sure I've complained about many times before. And Jana over here has many exams to write.
Jana is in boot camp and writes 150 pages of handwritten exams a month.
So you can imagine that we're both... brain is dripping out of every orifice.
I mean, the reason you're listening to this presumably in July is because the schedule slipped somewhere in February and we haven't been heard from since.
Yeah, we've just been in the woods, just in the reeds, trying to survive off of insects that we're finding underneath logs. We're just being reared by a meerkat and a warthog.
Where are you? Never mind. Never mind.
I can see that you wanted to interrogate my joke there, but you could tell that
I
nothing.
understood the joke.
Nothing satisfying could come from this. You're gonna dig in and find something satisfying. You're just gonna dig in and find my brain goop.
I can dig in and make you check Disney spoilers.
I mean, it is worth mentioning. Speaking of animated specials, it is
spoilers for a movie that is older than you.
Shush. It is worth mentioning that at this point in time, which to you, dear listener, must be months and months after the Legend of Vox Machina has finished, but Still relatively
it just finished
fresh
for us.
Yeah.
We haven't even published the bonus episode yet. We have published one episode about the first 3 episodes, but not our big daddy breakdown that we are going to be doing at some point.
Yes,
it's going to be long.
Probably be a Patreon.
We have
special.
thoughts.
We have so many thoughts. Brain full, many
thoughts. You will know whether this has happened because chances are we're publishing this way before this episode, which is why we're in a time paradox.
Yeah, but it's worth mentioning that, like, we are recording this before that one. And so that means that we are still full, head full, many thoughts, Vox Machina mode.
I made friends of mine watch the show and they managed 2 episodes and were like, this isn't that great and we don't like the animation style. And I'm like, I feel you. Give episode 3 a chance and then maybe skip to 10.
Yeah, which is the main thing that we said in our episodes. It's like, just skip the first 2 episodes. There's much less boobs than the rest. Still a lot of boobs, though.
I mean, I don't think boobs were the biggest problem of the first 2 episodes. And honestly, I think I like the first 2 episodes, the second episode, better than most of the middle parts, but this is all past, future, time paradox, not what we're here to talk about.
Oh yeah,
I just wanted to say the stream.
I just wanted to say that it was very weird having watched those episodes so recently, and then watching this episode, and being like, oh, I forgot how much of Vox Machina is just kind of like putzing around.
Yeah, there was very little putzing around, and all the putzing around they did was completely useless and irrelevant.
Yes, which I guess is relevant. I guess is like it is in the spirit of Vox Machina because the putzing around in this episode is very irrelevant.
Sure, but we're not going to talk about this. We have thoughts. It's going to be.
Yeah, this is all just to say this episode is a whole lot of nothing.
We already said that in many variations.
Yes, we have.
You know what's also been a whole lot of nothing?
What?
The situation surrounding the current Critical Role opening.
Yeah, they haven't said shit about that, huh?
No, like, dear listener, in the distant future, like a week or 2 before we recorded this episode, there was an actual Kotaku article on Critical Role Orientalism, which made excellent points about the Orientalism when criticizing the approach to the setting, and especially the opening. Then got a little bit lost in the weeds when addressing the financial situation, which should be goddamn irrelevant because these people are producing content for mass consumption and very successful with it, and that's all you need to be allowed in air quotes to criticize a piece of media. And then the Critter fan base did what they do best and were like, "You're stupid.
You're stupid.
Stop complaining." And like, I have complaints about the article, mostly because I don't think the author went too far.
Yeah, no, I think that I agree that the problems that I have with the article are more journalistic in nature, and as in, like, you already had really good evidence. Why did you make all this bad evidence? Like,
why did you need to imply that Kickstarter money counts into income?
Yeah, like, that's not relevant.
Why do we keep pretending that $9 million over 22 months for a company with 30 employees in Burbank is big money? It is not.
It is not big money. You do not know what big money looks like. Big money is so
bigger
big.
Money than any of us individually probably will ever have.
Yeah, big money
but we are also individually, not companies.
Yeah, but that's not really what we want to say about this. What we want to say about this is just like, the article makes really, really good points. And really, really strong points.
Yes.
It's just like, they're also being kind of weird and irrelevant points. Just kind of makes it feel a little bit less, like it should have just been shorter and more concise and just made the good points that it did. Because those are really, really good points. Like,
they could have even gone further, because the article kind of implies that Marquette is a new world, but Marquette showed up in Campaign 1 and,
was much, much worse in Campaign 1.
Oh god, yes.
I mean, it hasn't improved that much in terms of just them sort of playing it off as, like, you know, Teldori 2, the sequel to Teldori.
Yeah, it's just another place. Like,
it's just another place.
At least the Empire, they were called the Dwendalian Empire, right? The other one
the Dwendalian Empire, yeah.
It was like...
Right. As usual, your memory is very good.
Thank you. Like, if you argue that they never really engaged with the cultural backgrounds of a setting, that is true.
Yeah,
but it was just as true for bland general fantasy European settings. So, I understand the point, but again,
I agree. I think that's just
the thing is, I don't think the author watched any of Critical Role, which is irrelevant to the points they were making. Actually, it made like a few points. It made like all the jumbled up financial argument a little worse. No, my point is that I don't think the author was actually in the fandom, but also considering the kind of reaction they provoked from the fandom, I understand why fans of the relevant ethnicities within the fandom are keeping their mouths shut.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that this fandom isn't particularly appealing to them. Yeah,
that too. And I can understand that anyone with like a name in the fandom would not want to get involved here.
Yeah, which is a shame, because I feel like the cast is sort of playing dead on this, and I feel like that's a little cowardly of them.
Yes, that's the point I was leading up to, because I also don't like it when people say like, "Oh, the fan base is bullying me. This is clearly the creator's fault," because like it is not. However, the silence on the topic ever since it started has been fucking deafening.
Yep. They just are sort of like waiting for it to blow past, and like I truly resent that to some extent. I feel like I've mentioned before, especially regarding like I went on a rant recently about like the Game Grump situation, how like it's absolutely terrifying to me that they've just avoided so much controversy by just sort of playing dead and just waiting for like the internet to get upset about something else. And, like, the fact that seems to also be the case with the Critical Role cast is, I feel like, very disappointing. Like, it's even more disheartening. Yes. Like, it's disheartening to me that they would make this sort of intro, but it's also disheartening to me that they would ignore the criticism to such an extent.
I mean, we've discussed before that we are completely convinced that this intro was made in complete obliviousness to the implications of these costumes, especially in relation to the setting. It's just that the combination made it worse. So much worse.
Yeah.
So just a simple sorry, our bad would have, been a thing, but no one on the show has said anything.
No, thank you for educating us. We apologize. We will be attempting to remedy this to the best of our ability, but for the meantime, it's just, these things take time, and it's hard to just make a replacement. Like, just something. Just say something.
Anything. And, like, the only reaction we have gotten was that they probably made Brian Foster delete his tweets on the matter, where he blamed the Critical fan base for the Democrats losing the next elections.
Sure, that's fine.
Pretty much what it was.
I didn't know the Critical Role fandom was such a big voting bloc.
Especially not in places where it matters, because your system is weird. Anywho.
Shall we get into the actual episode?
I mean, yeah.
It's gonna be very sad to me if, like, by the time this particular episode comes out, if this topic is still unaddressed. Okay, speaking of spoiler warnings and content warnings and spoiler warnings.
Yeah, the spoiler warnings are for like The Lion King so far. But saying that makes it a spoiler warning, I suppose, but no, the marketing.
Hello, and welcome to the content and spoiler warnings for this episode 10 of Critical Rollback, as well as the content warnings for just this 10th episode in general of Campaign 1. So as for the content warnings, we do want to let you know that there is a mention of child death in the Q&A. It's not so fun. There is some body horror. There's a very gross attempted loss of agency / sexual harassment against Kima in particular. It's not great, and we discuss it in this episode and how not great it is. There's also mention of PewDiePie, and that's also quite unfortunate. As for spoiler warnings, we do talk about The Lion King. And spoil some relevant details for the end of Campaign 2, as well as some details about Campaign 3. So if those matter to you, please be conscious of that. Before I finish off, I want to let you know that Ryan Akaba is going to be on Critical Role for 17 more episodes. I know I haven't done this in a while, but I really want to get back into the habit, so pretend I've been doing this the whole time. Alright, that's been Content and Spoiler Warnings. Please do enjoy the rest of the episode. Thank you for joining me. Bye!
Here we are, and because we have so goddamn little to talk about in the actual episode, why don't we just go through a quick highlight reel of the Q&A section they do afterwards?
Before we go into the Q&A, I do want to say that Matt's very nerdy cloak.
Yes, Matt has been gifted an extremely nerdy cloak by the fanbase.
It's adorable.
It used to be in the thumbnail back before they made the thumbnails all professional looking with arbitrary arc colors.
I really like the new outfits and the cool makeup and everything. It's very slick and stylish, but I do think that they should just get to wear nerdy outfits and like cheap Halloween store costumes every now and then, just because it's so cute, yes. Guys. It's so cute. If you guys have never watched, cute. It's just adorable.
The wiki still had the old thumbnail, and as a special treat, if you are willing to pay money for this podcast on the Patreon we have, the picture is also in the notes.
Yeah. It
is.
I think my thing with this episode is that I don't resent this episode being just a whole lot of nothing, just because, it's kind of cute, this episode.
I mean, the last episode we watched and reviewed for this was episode 7.
Which isn't not a good episode.
Literally anything except episode 27 would be an improvement.
So they're trying to sell 1,000 shirts. And if
they don't quite make it, they only make it in the during the donation announcement in the end, and that's how we got the Q&A we are going to talk about at some point.
Yes.
Yes.
This episode was aired on May 14th. Yeah. May 14th, 2015.
Yes, which she knows because I put it in the notes. Usually I look this up on the spot.
Yes. There's many snacks on the table.
Many a product placement.
So many product placements.
I'm not sure you're allowed to show this much on Twitch, actually.
No, but it was different days back then.
I've literally seen a program sponsored by the companies that the cans on the table are from, having to put empty fake cups with the product name on during segments, but then having to have the players at home cover bottles of the same beverage, so to not do the ad there or something, which seems really, really weird and counterproductive.
If you remember, there are certain episodes of Vox Machina where they talk about not drinking alcohol on Twitch. We're like, no, this is apple juice.
They're just living up to their anime roots. Yes. And also Brian Foster's there.
So now we can finally get into the Q&A section. The Q&A section is very long, and a lot of it is just kind of like
it is basically a proto-Vox Machina.
It's proto-Vox Machina, also proto convention Q&As, which they also don't do anymore.
Yes, there are some of those dance monkey segments where it's just, can you do voice line from this character, which just
also stories about people's own campaigns, which used to be very acute. When people were just talking about oh, you guys are inspiring me to play this and this, and what is a tiefling? And those kinds of things, instead of just somebody getting on stage and talking about their own campaign for 25 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's died out quicker than the dance monkey requests have, and just public service announcement. When you're at a panel with a gajillion other people in the room all wanting to ask a question, and you want a voice actor to do a specific line, get your ass home and rip that line from the actual medium they're in. The quality is going to be much better.
It's going to be much better.
Unless you really want an entire room to hate you.
Yeah, the only one I'll forgive is the one person who asked Ashley to say, "Fuck you, Dylan," just because she had so much fun saying that. Fuck you, Dylan. And like, just went fully into it. And like, yeah, Ashley killed that line.
That could be like they should have offered this instead of having sponsorships. Just for this and this much money, we will say fuck you to someone you want to say fuck you to on stream.
I still want to get a cameo of Talis and Jaffe just saying the word "my wife" so that I can use it for my own purposes. I have a theory that you can replace any scene of Percy Dorado screaming with him yelling, "my wife," or like, "I love my wife," and like, it'll still make sense. Just what you imagine, like that scene where she shoots like Silas and Delilah in the animated show, but instead she's just saying, "I love my wife," and that's
You're not even married yet.
It'll work, I promise you. It's gonna work.
People still think your wife is in a love triangle with her own twin. Apparently the new fan base is slowly catching on to the fact that you're in an endgame ship here. God, we will have to talk about the...
Let's not talk about that. Anyway, the Q&A segment.
Yes.
There's the story of that time Keyleth accidentally killed a child.
The time of Matt bullying his girlfriend, which he does a lot during the first campaign.
I still think Matt, you really should have just given her a heads up then.
Look, if the situation is she thinks she can yank a child out of there with her grasping vine, and you think because of the way they are tied up, this would mean that the child's neck snaps. Maybe describe the thing again, because you clearly didn't convey that very well, did you?
Yeah, no, I strongly think that this is very close to, like... Remember that time, like, in the future episode where, Scanlan has to choose between, like, doing damage to Vax and doing damage to hostages?
I'm pretty sure Scanlan knew what he was doing there.
No, he knew what he was doing, but my point is that, like, before he did that, Matt stopped and was like, "Okay, just so that you understand. Like, this is what could happen. You can either do damage to Vax, or you can do damage to these hostages." And I feel like that's how you should regard it.
Vax is a fucking twink, but he still has more hit points than all these hostages combined.
Yes, but that is essentially what I think you should do in that situation, is you say, like, okay, you need to understand before this happens. Like, these are the ramifications that could happen. It might not happen. Like, maybe you will roll super well, and, like, the child won't die, but, like, just be aware. It's a threat, and, like, that is, I think, it's much more fair than to surprise the player with it.
Yeah.
Especially when that player is Marisha Ray.
Especially then. At least we weren't on stream then.
Yeah. God,
remember?
Damn it.
Imagine the mobs at the Geek and Sundry Studios if we had already been on stream when that happened.
God.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
God.
Anyway, to a somewhat less but still infuriating next point, they list the party's alignments, which are bullshit in general, but also I wanted noted that every single character except for Grog is good at this point.
Scanlan Shorthalt.
Scanlan Shorthalt should never have been anything above chaotic neutral. True neutral, maybe, but chaotic neutral.
Whenever I said that Scanlan Shorthalt should have suffered like an alignment shift, just like Vex, people tell me that he was already
not like Vex, but a justified one.
But like how Vex was Vex and Keel and Pike also were like given or at least threatened by an alignment shift, and Scanlan was not. And people keep telling me like he was already like neutral. He was already like chaotic neutral, and like maybe at that point of the campaign, sure,
maybe.
But like at this
point, wasn't, and it wasn't turned into a thing. It was never turned into a thing.
Yes,
Vex's alignment drop was a thing. Pike struggling with her alignment is a thing right now, and even Tiberius dropping to chaotic neutral after going full shredder on a grandma was a thing.
Not Scanlan though.
Not Scanlan. Never Scanlan.
Yes, this email has been left without a subject line for purposes. This email has been left intentionally blank, is what I will say.
Okay, truly delightful things.
Laura,
Someone asked Laura if she wants a giant trinket plushie.
of course.
Of course. It's going to be here in a few episodes, and then it's going to be replaced by a life-size bear.
And she loves them both so much. I wonder where that life-size bear is.
So much. The last time he was seen on the Vox Machina set, right?
Yeah, I wonder if he's still there or if they moved him.
You think he's babysitting?
I mean, I bet that we know that the giant plushie is.
We do?
Wasn't there pictures of Ronan with the giant plushie? I don't remember.
Maybe. It sounds like something that would happen. If you have a child and you have a giant bear plushie, you give that giant bear plushie to your child to live on, I guess.
Yeah, that's basically, to have an enclosure. Yes. To have a playset. Like,
Yes.
it is like a playset sized plushie. The playpen sized plushie.
It is. Very much so.
They also ask, like, if we could, like, when can we buy trinket plushies? And to that I say, you still can't.
You kinda could. It's like a Kickstarter thing.
You still can't.
Do you have one? I don't have one.
I don't have one, no. So, like, if I'm saying, like, they are liars, because I want a trinket plushie still.
Yes. They're going to have a goddamn Frumpkin plushie before they have a trinket plushie, aren't they?
I mean, there is a
Do they already have a Frumpkin plushie? Oh god.
They do have a they do have a Frumpkin plushie.
Oh god, and that fake German shirt. Oh.
Let's see.
I will give them that. At least they haven't yet to take an entire Middle Eastern, North African language and give it a fantasy name and then speak it badly. And put that on shirts.
Oh no, they still
I'm not claiming harm here. I'm claiming
They
annoyance.
still good.
Not to give them any ideas again. There's no harm being done here. This is not a comparable situation.
No, this is just...
It does annoy the shit out of me.
This is just annoying. Like, we could just be annoyed by something. And, yeah. Like, we could just be annoyed by the concept of Zemnian existing.
Yes. And they're not even taking actual German words where they would have made sense. Like, what's a Vollstrecker? It's Vollstrecker. It's a cool title and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Just...
Or, like... having sentences in the comic book which are like under like the little brackets which mean like these were spoken in Zemnian and like those sentences are not translatable. Yeah,
and I just said like, okay, the only things of those comic books I've seen were screenshots of the Blumen trio having a threesome while looking like 40-year-old NPCs. Like, no shade on the art style, but not appealing to me.
They look like CW teams.
Huh?
They look like CW teams.
They look older than CW teams.
I think that's the short hair because they all look like they have receding hairlines.
I think it's the lines in their faces.
And also like the hairy forearms and like giant ass chests. They look like I don't even know if I should say this, but they look like porn actors where you're just like, oh, okay, this person had like a career before this.
Like an actor in a porno flick where everybody gets tested afterwards, including the cameraman. Dear listener, just take a sip and stay hydrated every time I make a Dragon Ball Z abridged reference. I've been binging that a lot. It's my comfort food. Oh yeah, we can also totally do that.
Anyway, people want longer episodes. They will get this. I had a lot of fun with them saying, like, do you really want to watch, like, 5-hour-long sessions? And, like, oh, sweet children.
You're going to subject us to 7-hour-long episodes during which things happen that shouldn't have happened because the previous episode was a perfect finale already. Screw this.
They recap the trinket story.
Yes! Laura references the trinket story she's written.
Which is really funny to me because, like, there are so many people who haven't read the trinket story. Because, like, A, it's a short story.
And they should. It's good.
You could read it so shortly. But, like, even if you don't want to read it, there's, like, literally a scene. Like, you could literally just watch Laura recap it in, like, 5 minutes.
Yes! Not even 5 minutes. Just very briefly, very short notes, and gets all the necessary information across. Especially the trinket was acquired outside of being a ranger's
pet.
You could,
like...
Not at level 3.
You could just put this episode on double speed.
Not to subtweet anyone.
We're gonna chase Matt.
Shout out and remind me to put in the card here. Remind me to put in the card here for our Vex special and supplementary materials thing, episode, whatever, which we have. We have a wonderful trailer for it. And an even more wonderful special episode on our Patreon.
Yes, we do. People were scared that the show would end after Kavarn. This didn't happen.
If it had, we wouldn't be here.
Yes, we would have.
Just legitimately, if this had been all there was to Vox Machina, I don't think either of us would have ever cared.
I would still be in the Life is Strange fandom.
They're getting a remaster and YouTube has been showing me ads for it while watching this
Every
episode.
time I get like an ad or a commercial that I just start seething. I just start seething because I should have, it should have been me. I should have gotten to, this is like my villain backstory. Like I'm gonna watch like the Life is Strange remaster playthrough and then I'm just gonna like make a death ray to take over the world and be like, I should have been the one to write that. I could have done a better job.
Look, doing a better job in writing Life is Strange than the people who actually did it isn't
No,
that
it's
hard.
not. It's really not.
It's not well written.
But you could have done so much with the remaster. It's it's a game about time travel. You could have done so much. You could have made a new game and published it under the remaster and then like, surprise, it's not actually the remaster. It's a whole new game.
Or just add a new game plus.
A new game plus. It's a thing about time travel. How do you not use this opportunity? Anyway, this is...
One of these days we're going to have a Life is Strange special.
Yes, I do want to go back to... because we haven't even actually started talking about the episode proper, but I do want to say, do you remember that time...
No! We haven't!
Like,
50 minutes recording! We're not even close!
Do you remember that time when we were still, like, very, very, like, recently friends, and you were telling me about a dream that you had about, like, a plane crash? And I was like, hey, do you know about Life is Strange? And then you were silent for like a minute and you said, shh, Chloe Price was driving the plane.
I don't remember that, but that sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, that was a conversation that we had. Like when we were just starting to be friends.
Oh.
Good times.
Good times. Also for the record, I currently have my bisexual Bob is a lot fluffier than Mac.
Max,
Her name is Max, yes.
Maximum Ride.
Max Caulfield. I was like, Matt? No, not Matt. Matt is not... It's... yeah, my
so much
Bob
fluffier.
is a lot fluffier, and I think closer to Cora in length, but...
Yeah.
I no longer look like an Allura cosplayer.
Sorry. Unless Allura got a bisexual Bob, which would make sense, because Allura is Allura is a bisexual rep. Allura's bisexual rep because she has wonderful, amazing taste in women and just the shittiest taste in men. Which I identify with.
And ain't that the experience?
Yeah. Anyway, I did have a transition from Life is Strange to say that one of the people that... Because one of the questions is if you could guess anyone, because... who is it? Jennifer Hale?
Oh! They wanted Jennifer Hale, but Ashley Birch was actually on the show and killed someone.
Tellison says that his a person that he wants to guess is Ashley Birch.
Oh,
nice. One in the bucket.
Got to do that. Congratulations, she killed your character.
I do love that though. I do love that it specifically tells him like, I want Ashley Birch to join, and then oopsie-doopsie.
Campaign 2 spoilers.
Oopsie-daisy.
We did it!
Okay, tell us some other highlights from the Q&A.
We have Laura says she wants to play a tiefling next.
That happens.
They mention finding Percy in a dungeon later than the rest of the party, and Laura loudly wonders how he got there. Like, she would really like to know. Almost like she was there when it happened. Not to subtweet anyone.
Then they get asked who their favorite character other than themselves is.
Which is the reason we're talking about this right
obviously.
Now. We are incorrigible.
We're so incorrigible. Just to say some other people to mention, like to prove that I did actually try to pay attention to this question, I know that Marisha said that her favorite character is Grog.
So did Orion and I think Liam?
Yeah, no,
Liam couldn't pick. Liam couldn't decide. Yeah. Liam picked everyone.
He said like he likes everyone, he likes Grog, and he likes Keyleth a lot. I'm trying to think.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yes. I'm trying to remember who Laura said was her favorite. I think she
Scanlan.
said Scanlan, but she also said she really likes, like, this is when everyone said, like, oh, we really like Percy. Like, everyone wants to be Percy. Like, I remember at some point she's like, oh, but I really like Percy, and, like, the range is really good, and, like, everyone's like, yeah, I really like Percy.
This was, like, one of the first... This is one of the first episodes when Percy was actually on. Like, really
Percy
on.
is on. Percy is here today.
We'll get into that.
He makes things. He does stuff. But...
Sassy bitch Percy has entered the chat.
But, like, everyone just wants Percy, and Taliesin says that his favorite character is... Well, he actually says Laura is his favorite character, so he might not be completely on yet.
I think this is actually kind of accurate.
Yeah, his favorite character type is Laura. So every campaign, he just is a big fan of Laura. I think he just really likes the kind of the way she like does roleplay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Mm-hmm. But he specifically just likes Vex a lot and like likes the kind of emotions and roleplay that comes out of Laura. But it is true that Jealous and Jaffe's apparent like favorite character class is Laura Bailey.
That much has stayed consistent.
Yep.
Remember how Jonathan Jeffrey was the only one who actually understood Jester and would have done right by her?
Yeah, I still think that my favorite endgame possibility for Campaign 2, which, spoilers, this didn't happen, but just Caduceus and Jester having, like, a platonic marriage on, like, a seaside cottage with a bunch of goats and bees, and just, like, that's where they live.
It's where she ends up after the inevitable divorce, because we just get those in campaign guides now.
Can't wait for that one. Can't wait for that campaign guide to come out in 10 years. It's just... I've gone into many details about this in conversations, and I'm not going to cite them all because I will be cancelled on Twitter if I say them.
Please.
I'm not going to talk about what I think is going to happen with the Bo and Yasha marriage.
I mean, if
not
they
going to talk
could
about
get a room on the goat farm, because
I'm not going to talk about what I think happens to Ford's gender.
You're in good company there. No, you're not in reverse. Wait, I don't. Whatever.
Shall we continue? Is there anything else we want to say about the Q&A before we before we start the episode?
We are not going to get into criticizing the Hogwarts and Game of Thrones houses.
No.
I could write a dissertation about all of this, but I won't. And the chat coins the term critters, which is, I think, what by extension we are.
Yes.
I don't really like fandom terms like this.
Yeah, I don't like them either. I do think that critter applies to me because I'm just sort of like a...
Yes.
Like a terrible little cretin. So I'm like 5'1" and I'm 5'1" and I live in your attic.
I live in the attic, darling.
I
if
know.
you live here, that would make recording so much easier.
It makes so much easier, so much less work. I guess I think I'm a critter in the same sense that like people chase me out of their house with a broom.
Or throw you off bridges.
Or throwing me off bridges in like a sack.
If we ever do visit Berlin together, we'll have to keep you on a tight leash.
Anyway,
I think we have exhausted everything we can talk about before the actual episode.
Yeah,
so we're almost done. Okay, so it has been a while for us since we watched this in sequence. Mm-hmm. Mentally, we are still in the throne room.
Mentally, we are still in the throne room, but we are not.
But we are actually not. We have moved on from then and moved through like a pit of glass and bone. Not ash and bone, that's something different. Mm-hmm. We got Grog back. We walked through the scenic video game locations with the fungal forest and the crystal caverns, and some Vax tried to loot armor of a corpse, got hit by a trap and almost died, which
sure happened.
Congratulations! Everyone groan if you get the reference. And we have now approached a beach of a lake. In the middle of the lake is an island. In the middle of this island is Illithid City.
Yeah,
In the middle of Illithid City, there's the cut open pyramid that we sure don't have a better word for.
This feels like a verse in, like, the Rattling Bog. It's like, oh, the Underdark, the Illithid City of the Underdark, and on the lake there was a city.
And the Horde, and the Beholder, and the Beholder, and the Temple, and the Temple, and the Ziggurat, and the Illithid City, and the Illithid City, on the island, and the lake, and the lake, and the Underdark.
Hey, the Underdark, and the Underdark, and then the Underdark,
Hey,
the
the Underdark.
and the
We're almost
Underdark.
out of the Underdark!
All in one breath.
Yeah, okay, so that's where we are. We are at this beach. Percy has built us a boat. Keyleth is a shark and hauling the boat. Everyone else is on the carpet because the boat is too small for all of them. And they have decided to ignore the main quest and just explore every cave on this beach because this arc hasn't had enough padding yet.
Yeah, I think Grog wants to grind.
Yeah, he needs it. He really needs more grinding or he's going to wipe to the next boss.
Yeah, like, that is genuinely, like, the justification that they use constantly. Is like, every time they're like, hey, why are we going to that next island? It's like, somebody tries to justify it, and then, like, Travis kicks him out, like, I want to fight something. I want to fight something. Let me fight something.
And he doesn't get to for the entire episode.
No.
No wonder he's gonna do the thing with the giants next episode. No
Stay in
wonder.
the boat.
Yeah, well, it technically gets to hit Pike once, but, like...
Hang on, I'm putting this in my notes. The Underdark
What are you putting into your notes?
Bog parody. There we go. Come up with that sometime. Okay.
I am a little proud of the verse I did.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I just need to come up with something for the syllables. Like, it's the way, hey, the Underdark. Da, 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 da,
We're almost out of the Underdark.
Oh, that's a good one.
Underdark.
Almost out? No, it's too many. Underdark, almost out of the Underdark. Da, da, the Underdark, almost out of... I'll think of something. So we start the episode with combat.
Yeah, we start the episode with combat. Some zombies that didn't want to be looted are munching on Vax.
They sure are. Which, like, why would you even pick Vax? Like, I understand that he's, like, the most punchable, but, like,
There's nothing on this boy. Eat
There's
something
nothing
else.
on this boy. Like, I understand that it's very easy to, like, fight him because he's very easy to wrestle. But, like, I'm not trying to say that he's... I'm legitimately saying that he's an easy target. But there's no meat on him. You're not gonna get a good biteful.
Seriously.
At least try to pick, like, Pike. Like, Pike you could get a nice bite.
Is Pike even in here? I mean, it's kind of cute how the gnomes just roll the worst initiative together.
Ashley's here.
Ashley is here, but Pike isn't. Does Pike make it into the cave? Because I remember them running out again.
She might not be in the cave. I don't know.
It's a little... Percy's definitely not in the cave. Percy still has Keyleth on a leash, who is still a shark, pulling the boat. And he's letting her know that it's time to boogie. That's a quote. And also something else Taliesin does this episode is, they have written the word Hunter's Mark behind the bottom table on the blackboard. And every time Laura takes a turn, he starts pointing at the term Hunter's Mark, but only after she actually remembered it.
Yes. The thing is that she's actually really good at this episode remembering it, but everyone's just like, Hunter's Mark, Hunter's Mark, Hunter's Mark. Even though, like, sometimes she's not even in range to cast it.
Yeah, and at some point she crits with Hunter's Mark, but they all forget about the fact that she also doubled the dice on that one.
Oh, poor Laura.
Yeah, she kills it anyways, it didn't matter.
That's true. I just feel bad for her, like, because I feel like she just wants to, like... Even this early on, you can tell that she really wants, like, to... be able to, like, have this really... I feel like she's finally getting this with Imogen, spoilers for Campaign 3. But, like, you can tell that she always really wants to have, like, this like, cool and, like, cinematic and just really has something that's, like, punchy and, like, fat and, like, fun and, like... Unfortunately, as much as I adore Vex, and I think Laura adores Vex too, I think it's just something with the Rangers just not clicking.
Yeah, she likes her pet and all, it's just that the pet is fucking useless, but with rules as written. And the class itself is just...
It's jank.
Yeah, that's the reason she only puts levels into Rogue later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I really like Ranger as a concept.
I mean, she can do massive amounts of damage with the whole favorite enemy stuff. There's been a good Ginny D video lately who was like, as a DM, you don't think about how to counteract your party's abilities. Think about how you can make best use of them. Remember how Laura Beatty picked dragons as her favorite enemy, and whoops, it's an all dragons campaign.
There we go. Oops, all dragons.
There we go. Oops, all dragons. Yeah, so
it's a short combat.
It's a really short combat scene. Vox gets surrounded by zombies, they gnaw on him, he gets paralyzed by not resisting poison. Tiberius does a thing where he lifts him up on a stone column and then fireballs the zombies and then destroys the stone column, and Vox takes fall damage. A mean DM, if Matt would have been mean to anyone but Marisha at this point, would have made Vox take attack of opportunity damage, so you can argue he doesn't willingly leave their range. I'm just saying it could have technically been possible. Alright, Tiberius, I have so many notes about him in this. Just about how he throws spell slots away like... Yeah, there's a joke in here about how people throw candy at children doing this folk fest carnival thing that we really should not have this year. Because drunk crowds is no. No. And then after Tiberius throws the fireball and thus casts 2 third-level spells in 1 round, both using spell slots, which is not even something you can do with sorcery points, but what are rules? Also trying to enforce rules on Orion at this point is meh.
Yeah, this is the thing about the Q&A, is that somebody asks him, some very brave soul, like, can you explain sorcery points to me? And you can just tell that one of somebody was there, like, somebody in the chat was just like counting that, being like, this isn't lining up. I just need to ask.
He spends 8 out of 10 this episode, and I don't even know what he spends them on.
Yeah.
On spell slots?
You can just tell that some poor soul was like, I just need this to be explained, and like did not get an adequate explanation.
I've just read my D&D player's handbook, and it said sorcery points are a limited resource. So are your spell slots. Can you explain?
Please explain. Anyway.
Yeah. Whatever isn't that from the fireball, Vex then kills with Hunter's Mark and a crit, and then everything is dead. And Percy/Taliesin sums this fight scene up in all its relevancy with, alright, that was fine.
Percy is really all in this episode. Back to the boat. It's just like...
He is.
He's just like
a sassy
funny.
Bitch.
He's a sassy bitch. I don't know quite where the bomb comes in.
Later. The next cave we go to for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
We're not quite there yet. We need to get attacked once more. Keto is still a shark. Vex opens a chest that explodes.
Wait. Go back. Where's the chest?
In the cave. Like, okay, they get attacked by zombies, then they go to a chest. Vex opens the chest, it makes kaboom. Kills the armor, kaboom. They get a sword out of it, and so for some reason the gold survives.
Oh god, this is like an anime filler episode.
It is! Yes! This is the video game when you just start avoiding the giant quest marker right ahead of you and just explore everything around it. Yes, right, and the the explosion gets the following exchange where, like, Vax is also in range and he's like, as a rogue with evasion, if I make my dexterity saving throw, I take nothing. Then you take nothing in damage. And then Laura is like, as the twin of a rogue with evasion.
She started haggling very early on in the campaign.
She is never not haggling.
Yes. Haggling with God. The Vex Dorello story.
Oh, that's going to be the title of my Small Souls Claims Court fanfiction, isn't it? Haggling with God.
Haggling with God. That also might be the name of the episode. It's Haggling with God.
Technically, could also be the title of Vex's autobiography.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, Haggling with God, the Vexalia Dorello story.
When a god offers you a deal, make sure you know what the deal is. Make them spell out the terms to you.
Oh no, it's not an autobiography, it's like a self-help book. She's just like, how to haggle with a god. Like, yes. Number 1, know what you're worth.
Number 2, get a written contract.
Always get a written contract.
Number 3, death is avoidable, temporary, and reversible. Please make sure that your god knows this.
Number 4, invest in diamonds.
Anyway.
Molding gold.
Yeah, there's mold on the gold. Don't explain to me how that works. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Maybe they mean tarnish. I don't know. I don't even know if gold tarnishes that much.
And then we are back to another fun episode of What Are Rules featuring Tiberius. He identifies his sword.
18 to see what's up.
He just rolls and says he got an 18. He doesn't even say what he rolls for. Is it an Arcana check? Because, is it identify? Because it's treated as identify. You don't roll for that one. You just spend a spell slot.
This is why you say, I would like to insight check. Like, you have to... This isn't how the social contract works. You have to ask the DM.
Yes, if it's okay to roll here. Which is something he's going to only get worse at. Oh, by the way, while we're on Orion, something I noticed this episode.
We're trying not to talk about him as much as possible, but go ahead.
Nothing else to talk about.
That's true.
Literally, like, yeah, okay.
No, go ahead, please. We're already talking about him, we might as well.
I mean, Sam also makes points he read in the Twitch chat or on the Twitter after the last episode, but that's beside the point. Orion starts looking into the camera, doing roleplay a lot.
Oh boy.
While doing, and I think this is where he decides that he's the protagonist.
Yeah, he's playing to the...
This is the exact episode.
The thing is that I feel like he thinks that he's a protagonist in the sense of, like how Seinfeld is the protagonist of Seinfeld. It's like... These guys, am I right?
Honestly, yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
No, that's not what's going on here.
He makes sure to play into behaviors that the fans like, as in bantering with Clarota.
Yeah, which, like, nobody wants this. And also, like, he preemptively does the thing that he'll do again, where he, like, just calls his brother up and be like, fix this problem for me.
And then the brother's like,
no.
Can you give me more details?
The brother's like, no, this isn't how D&D... What?
You do not get a telephone joker in D&D.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
As a possessor of one of the few rare brothers in the world.
I don't have one.
I do. I don't think...
Would he be your telephone joker and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No, I don't know. I only call my brother to do things, to help me with things when I need to, like, move apartments. And I need someone with a truck. The last time I called
the most heterosexual thing I've heard you say.
The last time I called my brother up for help was, like, to drive I think that he drove, like, a moving truck across the state for me, which was very nice of him.
Thank you, Bal's brother.
Thanks, bro. That's another fun thing that we do. So whenever people, like, the siblings don't call each other, like, brother and sister, I'm like, yeah, no, we don't do that, but I do call my brother bro sometimes.
Do you call him bro seriously, or
No, as a joke. Because he used to call me sis a lot. Not a like S-I-S sis. Not like... he was not calling me cisgender.
A cis vendor?
What?
We've lost the plot.
Anyway,
it's not a what are you doing stepbro situation, I presume.
Oh god, no!
That's the clip that plays in my head whenever someone says bro. It's either that or just... Bro, you're like my whole world. Bro. It's one of those two.
Though it is more like that jokingly in that, like, I'm like, hey, bro. It's like, hey, bro. Like,
there was a German band called Brosis. Which when you say it in actual English in the context, actually kind of sounds like a disease, like fibrosis or something. But no, it was supposed to be brothers and sisters. And it wasn't even Mormon.
Oh my god. Anyway.
We lost the plot. Where's the plot?
What is the plot?
Oh god.
What are rules?
Okay. Vex wants to put a diamond into the party funds and Scanlan pretends like that's not a thing, like, oh, you're going to put it into the party funds, which I think might have colored the entire fanbase's perception of Vex and her money management skills irreparably, because we find out very soon that she actually does have party funds that she keeps very diligently and never spends on anything for herself. Ever.
No, that's a good point.
She doesn't spend her own money on herself.
There's a part in a couple of episodes where she'll just be like, there isn't enough money in the part, like, you guys have been spending all of the party funds.
We cannot pay our staff from the party funds.
So I'm paying, like, with my own money.
Yes. People never bring that up when they talk about Vex the greedy bitch, do they? I wonder why. Because episode 30 nobody cares, but...
Yeah, like, when the party That's something to think about. When the party runs out of party funds, you know who foots the bill usually? It's Vex.
Because she manages her money.
She does.
Also, just for the record, we haven't seen them scalp a single being in the Underdark so far.
Oopsie daisy.
Speaking of money management.
In that lake there was a cave. Way, hey, dark cave.
We don't need the caves, though. We just need the horn on the beholder, and the temple, and the ziggurat, and the illicit city, on the island, and the lake, in the Underdark. That's enough!
Way, hey, the Underdark,
That's
we're
the whole
almost
song.
out of the Underdark. Way, hey, the Underdark, we're almost out of the Underdark.
Fuck right off with the Underdark.
Oh, fuck right off actually kind of sounds better. Way, hey, the Underdark, fuck right out of the Underdark.
But I think it works with, way, hey, the Underdark,
Fuck
we're
right
almost
off the
out of the
Underdark.
Underdark. Way, hey, the Underdark, fuck right off with the Underdark.
Okay, where were we?
Writing a song.
I guess this is what
party
this episode is
funds.
about.
Oh yeah, the whole party funds diamond thing also leads to the first time the mending wheel actually works. Which, cool.
Mhm.
Well, we have a whole diamond to put into party funds, put that into the resurrection side fund.
Yes. Scanlan reads the Twitch chat. For some reason, nobody should do that.
I'm not entirely sure he read the Twitch chat or the Twitter or something, but it's very much
Read
like,
something.
I have a to-do list that I totally just remembered myself.
Yes. Foot healing.
Foot healing.
Acid vial.
Do we even...
The less said about the foot healing, the better.
The best thing about the foot healing is how Laura is grossed out every time Liam insists on putting his feet on the table with the shoes on, which is perfectly valid. They are eating off of that table.
Yes, they are.
I mean,
Take your damn feet off with it. It's on your
Yes.
mother's house.
And if you do this at your mother's house, I think your mother is going to have words for you.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Though, I am still a little bit confused that Americans wear shoes in their homes. Alright, okay, I will say that we do sometimes wear shoes in the house, but those are house shoes.
House shoes, yes.
Like slippers or weird sandal variations, or my current house shoes are Crocs that I've had for over a decade. Oh god, these things are adorable. They're going to outlive me. Yeah, but they're wearing shoes on the set, which I suppose is fine, because even though it looks like someone's bedroom, it is. It might be, but it's not at the moment.
Yes. I would not want to step on something that's at the bottom of the Critical Role cast set. Especially the modern set. I feel like I'm gonna step right on something important.
Yeah, on the modern set, you're just going to break the whole theme park tech or whatever. On the old set, you're probably just going to step into old pizza crumbs.
Yes, pizza crumbs, or on a cockroach, or some broken glass. Depending on what happened on the set, based on is this before or after Sam started to do things for commercials?
Oh, you just reminded me of the worst one.
Yep, I know exactly which one you're thinking of.
Oh, it's literally the worst thing he's ever done. And that's a
Worst
high
thing-
bar to
it's
set.
It involves food.
It sure does. Okay. So they're in this cave.
Mhm.
They're in this cave and still doing shit in there. Then Laura sees something, and then what she sees attacks them, and they make it's a cloaker. It's like a flying manta ray that is very stealthy, and they make the executive decision to run.
They do, except they don't.
They kind of do. They do run out of the cave and then onto the boat. It just takes a while. Pike rolls a 20 for her initiative.
Yeah, which is a rare thing.
Yeah, doesn't help her much, and she face plants during her first turn. Keyleth is still a shark tied to the boat, ready to leave whenever.
It's really funny. Is this the part where you're like, oh yeah. When Pike tries to grab onto him and Matt says that because of the natural one, he just fully elbows her in the face.
Pretty much, yes. Pike runs up to Grog because Grog cleared twice the distance she could, and tries to glom onto his leg.
Long legs.
And slips, falls, and Grog beans her in the face with the elbow or fingertips
Which
or
is one
whatever.
of those things that I often... I found this episode very boring, but also very cute. And this is one of those things that always gives me the impression, like, oh yeah, they did grow up together, huh? Because it feels very much like...
This should be a practice maneuver. She should get advantage
yeah, but
on
it
this.
makes you feel like this happened so many times when they were teenagers, you know? Like, Pike would be like, yeah, Grog, pick me up, we're late for school. And, like, Grog would just fully elbow her in the face.
Aww.
And, like, break her nose. And feel really bad about it.
Grog and Pike in a classroom.
Yeah. Grog, we're gonna be late for high school.
And Grog just sits in the back, and he's also Pike's entire desk. She sits on his shoulders and uses his head as a writing surface.
Yeah, and like Pike is running to school with like a toast in her mouth, and Grog is running to school with like a whole like loaf of bread in his mouth.
Ah, yes, and he has to sit in the back because he's so tall.
Yeah.
But Pike doesn't want to sit away from him, so she sits on him.
Yeah, they grew up together. It's cute.
They were probably older than high school age, but yeah.
I don't know. I always imagine like Grog joining the family when like he's like kind of gangly and like teenaged.
Wait, wasn't he canonically like 13?
Something like that. I always imagine him like not a baby, but like, you know, a kid.
I mean, let's be real here. The whole I spoke out against killing someone innocent and my male relative beat me up and cast me out of the herd is very Zuko.
It's so Zuko, and it's also so like...
So Zuko.
It also translates so well to like a modern AU, I think. Like there's something about like the Vex, like not Vex, there's something like very much about like the Zanror plot to me that like always feels like you could translate this very easily to a modern AU, where it's just like Grog's family doesn't really take care of him, and he just kind of like is a neighbor to Pike, and like just kind of always were like at her house. And they're like not formal siblings, but they're like siblings in any way that matters.
Siblings in the oh my god, this child needs a family sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
No.
We are talking about the very fun instance where Vex runs and Vex is like, you're leaving me behind?
Yeah.
And like, that sure aged.
That aged, in a way. Just like how Vex won't.
Indeed. Well, I mean, it's turning into a mushroom aging.
He aged like a fine wine, and then he decomposed and turned into yeast.
Into a mushroom spore man.
Yeah. Vax aged like a fine cheese, and that he was covered in fungus.
We even get to giant spores this episode. Anywho's, the thing they're fighting now, the Cloaker thing, then either takes one for the team bravely or displays extremely shit taste and starts making out with Tiberius.
He sure does.
Liam provides slurping noises.
Ew.
Hey, I think this is great.
You think this is great?
If Tiberius was constantly preoccupied by making out with a Cloaker beast,
he wouldn't be able to speak. Cool. Yes.
Yes. He then uses his fire breath weapon on it. Well, he doesn't know how to use, but he does use it. And just for the record, if I were DMing this, the Cloaker beast would have the choice between either rolling a dex with... Okay. You either don't get to roll a dex saving throw, or you don't get to stay on his face when he breathes into you while you're making out.
Explain?
How are you going to dodge that? Okay, if you're attached to my mouth and I do a breath weapon on you, how are you going to dodge that or, like, dexterously get out of the way without letting go of my mouth?
That's a good point, yeah. You would have to, like, go to... It's either you take the damage,
it's an auto-fail, or the thing is off you.
Yes. What did he choose to do?
He chose to make it roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Thing stayed on him. Chips breathes fire into it. There's some confusion about how the breath weapon works. Talisman sasses him.
God. Maybe the Cloaker is so into making out that, like, the fire weapon didn't, like, work completely. It's just, like, has his tongue so far
Maybe
down.
he's into that. That's true.
Yeah. Ew.
Huh.
I don't know what the mating habits of Cloakers is.
And we will never find out.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. If we're very lucky.
Yeah, so... I mean, remarkable about this turn is that Tiberius uses his breath weapon and then spends 5 sorcery points on who knows what, and casts telepathy to get the thing off. Like, normal people would just roll like a roll like a strength check or something. But no, we have to spend level 4, level 5? A big spell slot, or like any spell slot at all on getting this off. And it works, so fine.
Sure.
But 8 out of his 10 sorcery points have now been used, and we don't know what for.
What are sorcery points again?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
They're a thing that allow me to do whatever I want.
Is it Pike's hair that smells like strawberries?
Yes.
It's always Pike's hair that smells like strawberries.
Because Scanlan jumps off the carpet that some of them are still on, and Dimension doors himself and Pike to the boat, and then says her hair smells like strawberries.
And if anything, her hair would smell like grape. Remember? It was black with a purple streak.
Darling sweetheart, they've been in the Underdark for, a week?
It just does not smell like strawberries.
Nobody is smelling like strawberries.
If you are smelling strawberries at this point, you are having a stroke.
Something like that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quick strategizing session between Percy and Vex, who are working out how to kill the Cloaker before it gets back to them.
Yeah, I will say that Vex is in good leader form this episode. She's just very decisive.
She is, until she defers one decision. I don't remember when it was, but I remember this happening and being weirded out.
Which, by the way, I still think that it's a leader choice. Is if you have to decide to be like, okay, you get to choose now. Like, that's still a leader thing to do.
True. If you have to defer the responsibility for making a choice, it is implied that the responsibility for making a choice was yours in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a very hilarious conga line of minis on the map we see very briefly. Just everyone running.
Run away!
Run away. They do still kill the Cloaker.
They do. I remember they kind of turn it into a sail.
No, Taliesin asked if he could.
They don't turn it into a sail?
Not really. Okay, so what happens is that after they kill the thing, it's just nothing of note happens. Let's just skip it to the kill the thing part.
Yeah, there's some Deadeye, there's Grog scares it.
Now that's actually pretty cool. Like, the thing screeches and everyone, the bottom table is scared, and then Grog is like, oh, I can scare it right back, which is, choices were made.
There's some
excellent
big these hand situation. I'm trying to give like a very brief summary of this combat because we were told that we are very visibly, dispassionate about combat.
Also, nothing happens here. So, literally, not even the wiki is passionate about this combat, and the wiki has had play-by-plays.
That's true.
So far. If checked.
So what happens?
They Bigby's hand the thing and shoot it and whatever.
I still think that they should have changed it from Bigby's hand to not Scanlan's hand, but like I don't know.
Some other name that wasn't trademarked, but still sounds funny like Bigby's hand does. Because Bigby's hand is way more fun to say and sing than Scanlan's hand.
Yeah, and it's also less conceited.
Yes. It also doesn't imply that Scanlan created the spell.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if he was singing, like, Timothy's hand, that's not, that's not quite as lyrical as Bigby's hand, but, it still implies that somebody else made the spell.
Yep. Oh, well.
Anyway, that's...
Oh, I remember how the thing dies. I think Orion casts telepathy again. Or telekinesis again. And squishes it and then dies in Bigby's hand, and it's just like... Has this man heard of a cantrip?
No. This man has not heard of a cantrip.
He uses prestidigitation a lot and light. But does he have a damaging cantrip? You need a damaging cantrip.
Yes, get a damaging... It's 2022. Get a damaging cantrip.
It's technically 2015, but yeah.
And then they want to turn it into a sail.
Yes, Taliesin wants to skin it because it's a cloaker and it has high stealth properties. And then asks if they can turn it into a sail, and Matt is like, there is no wind. And then they make a bunch of jokes about how they can make wind. And Percy ends up skinning the Cloaker, and they use the Cloaker skinned cloak.
They use a skinned Cloaker to make a Cloaker cloak.
That one, yes. And they use that on the carpet to stealth it while flying at the end of the episode, which was the first time they've actually taken care to stealth the carpet. I remember I was having... Yes, because I remember we had comments on the fact that
where are you stealthing?
A closed off space do you fly stealthily? What cover do you take in the open air?
I feel like this is like when Vex takes the flying potion and tries to during the Briarwoods arc and tries to stealth midair and Matt asks where? Like, where are you hiding?
How?
And she's like, my cloak is teal, so I'm blending into the sky. It's like, no, you're indoors.
You're indoors. They've seen you rise to the ceiling.
Where are you hiding? You can't just decide you're hiding. You need to how?
This is not invisibility, and invisibility is very, very
limited
weak anyways.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyway, Percy takes some initiative and comes up with a way to actually sort of stealthily fly. Good for you.
It doesn't work, but yeah, he figured something out. Good for him. It is something. He rolls really well. Grog tries to impress Kima. We still haven't established that she's not for him.
No.
Or anyone.
No, though she makes it very clear in this episode that she's not for him.
Yes, she will.
Vax rolls a ridiculous stealth.
Yep. Vax vanishes out of the campaign prematurely.
That's gonna save us a lot of heartache.
Indeed. So many problems resolved. We've reached a point where they are looking for things to do, and Travis is the one to point out that they don't need to run into the next cave.
Yes, even though he wants to do more combat, because he hasn't really been able to do very much.
Yes.
But they're just sort of arguing at this point of just like, do we, do some reconnaissance? Camp? What are we doing here, guys?
Yeah, they're looking for a place to camp, and so they go to the next best cave, and then send Keyleth as an earth elemental in there to do reconnaissance.
Yeah, I've sort of dubbed this episode like the Gulliver's Travels episode. Everything okay over there?
That was me evaluating that and being like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because they're just going from, island to island, cave to cave, just finding fucked up stuff and being like, fucked up. And yeah, this is the going to islands and being like, fucked up. And continuing on and having no real reason to.
Why are we here? What are we doing? Who knows?
Look at this fucked up creature.
I mean, there's a fun sequence where Keyleth does really stupid jokes as an earth elemental that only make Grog laugh.
They're cute.
They are very cute.
I feel like Grog, there's so Keyleth this is not a thing that they know yet, but I'm pretty sure Keyleth can talk as an earth elemental.
No, she can talk, but it's like, what's the language? Primordial?
Primordial or Sylvan or something?
Primordial in, the earth elemental dialect.
Yeah, but I don't think she knows that. I think she just thinks that, they think that she just can't talk. So I like to think that
she can laugh.
Yeah, I like to think that Keyleth is talking. It's just that Grog is the only one who can understand her.
Yes, I'm in favor of that.
Mm-hmm.
Grogleth real. So the earth elemental stealths into the cave, and Tamiris is like, if she goes, I cast invisibility. Everybody ignores this, but I find it very telling that the plot cannot commence without his inclusion.
Yep.
Cannot
do a cool thing.
Nope. Not on her own. She does do the earth elemental phasing in and out thing, and discovers that there is a weird rift in the cave, and also some squicks, whatever.
Yes.
Not aberrations, just subterranean monstrosities have taken up living in the cave next to the rift in reality. Cool, fine. Then she returns, and everyone is just, laughing at the beach, except for Tiberius, because he's still technically elsewhere. Whatever.
Why are they laughing at the beach? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember for the life of me.
What?
Why they're laughing.
True. I thought Keyleth was making another joke, but... the earth elemental ends up laughing, and that's very loud.
Yes. I do remember that.
Is this relevant to anything?
Encounter.
Not even.
There's some things with a bomb.
Yeah, they decide that the sensible thing to do is throw a bomb into that cave.
Which, how do you, mining, city, background, how do you feel about throwing a bomb into a cave?
Underground? Well, to be fair, there's a non-zero chance they just throw the bomb through the portal, which fun on the other side, but also, if you cause a cave-in in a place with a portal, technically everything goes through the portal.
Oopsie doopsie. Whoever's on the other side of that portal, gonna have some stuff.
There's a bunch of debris in the astral sea.
Yes. There's debris. There's debris in the astral sea. This is the musical episode.
I was about to say, this is a musical episode. Okay, there's another thing where technically Vax is in the wrong here, and I support silencing him when he gives Tiberius bad rapper names.
Ugh.
But then Tiberius and Scanlan have like a spell off where Tiberius casts silence on Vax, Scanlan casts Dispel Magic, Tiberius casts counter spell against the Dispel Magic. Everyone is just throwing away spell slots.
Yep, what are spell slots again? Cast a cantrip.
A thing that allows me to do whatever the fuck I want.
Celebration.
Yeah. Also, they're really insistent on enchanting the bomb that Percy has, which is, of course, an action they can just do. Enchanting doesn't take time or money.
Yeah,
everyone knows that.
You just do it whenever, right?
Obviously. Whenever, just right here, on this beach.
Enchant
right
this.
now. You got a minute, Derolo. Get to it.
Did Pathfinder just not have spell slots?
This is something I legitimately asked myself while watching this episode, because when we finally decided that we cannot enchant the bomb, Tiberius uses telekinesis again to throw it. Let Brock do one thing.
I don't understand why you need telekinesis to throw a bomb. It's a grenade. You just throw it.
Just throw it. If you are worried about getting the distance, let Grog do it.
Just put it in your hand. You just put it in your hand and just throw it. You just throw it.
That's how these things work. You do not need a spell slot for this. I have played too many spellcasters at low levels to take this. This is just including a sorceress.
I've been in too many situations during
more than one.
What was that?
Whatever. No. I've played the sorceress, I've played clerics, I've played bards. It's just a spell slot.
I've also played a lot of other characters who aren't sorcerers or wizards or bards and have been in situations where it's just like, oh, it's been 10 minutes, huh? They're still talking. They're still talking about what spells to cast. Guess I'll go get a drink. I don't know. Oh, you guys are still talking?
Are you talking about your D&D game or about the certified Vox Machina planning sessions where everybody just gets together as a group and reads their spells?
It's just sometimes when you're when you're not a spellcaster, you really realize that it's just like, wow, you're just talking about what a spell can't and can't do.
It's just talking and reading and reading and talking.
Reading and reading and talking.
Is this show and tell class? What?
And the bucket. Da-da-da-da-da.
Ein Loch ist im Eimer, lieber August, ein Loch ist im Eimer, lieber August, ein Loch.
Yes, that one.
That one. Yes.
Anyway.
Okay, so they throw the thing in and then cast a fireball on top of it. At some point, Tiberius says, "Pay attention, Ranger," which now means it's time for him to die prematurely. So too bad, so sad. So he throws the bomb with a spell slot and then casts a fireball on top of it. And I haven't kept track of the spell slots, but I'm pretty sure you don't get 5 level 3 spells.
You really don't.
Maybe that's what he spent the sorcery points on, but I don't think that's how they work. It's just, shut up.
Kill this man.
Then Percy and Scanlan have a very rare bro moment.
Very rare.
Moment. What? Moment.
Bromant? A bromant?
Yes. No, I just pronounced moment weirdly. Where they're like, this was a really good bomb, what do I owe you? Your life at this point. And the song. Which, is this ship tease, or is there too much Game of Thrones happening, and I'm compromised?
You're compromised, I think.
I am compromised.
I think this is also just like Percy waking up and it's like, oh yeah, he just has chemistry with everyone. Forgot about that.
It probably doesn't help that they had Rory McCann in the animated show. That's the Hound, the dude who voiced, was it Vedmaier? The one whose dick you wanted to see.
It's not that I wanted to see his dick, it's that I think that if you're gonna show us him shitting, at the very least, at least don't be a fucking coward.
Valid. And again, if you want to see, the actor's dick, there's a Game of Thrones episode I can point you towards.
You've told me this.
Yeah, but I haven't told the listeners this. If you want to see Rory McCann's dick, freeze frame on, I think season 7, episode 1 or something, he pees in a lake, you can see a reflection.
Well,
so, equal opportunity nudity. Whoa! Yes, Orion looks at the camera, and
he's completely
laughs at me and winks at me. Yes.
Kavarn.
Kvarn. They woke up and Kvarn came through that cave.
Do you say
what?
Kvarn or Kvarn?
I've said Kvarn for comedic effect. It is Kvarn.
It is Kvarn. I feel like it should be Kvarn, right? But like it...
Kvarn.
What if it's a silent K? Is it Kvarn? Like night?
What if it's Kvarn?
Kvarn.
What if it's nrav'K and it's actually read back from the other side?
God, it's the... What? What?
What if it's read right to left? Everyone just got it wrong. His name is nrav'K. Do we have anything substantial to add here, sweetheart? I don't understand what's so funny right now.
Narv. What the fuck? Sometimes you say things. Sometimes you just say things. I don't think you have a permit.
I need to start keeping a running tally of the bad conversations you start on here, okay?
Okay.
I'm the one starting.
Anyway, I'm
offended.
If you collapse a cave on a portal, you just send Crumble through a portal. Rhoda is here, despite all evidence to the contrary.
What?
We have not mentioned Colorado being present for any of these encounters.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't do shit this episode. He went invisible once. He's here, he has opinions, maybe, he's trying to be nice to Keyleth for a bit and then insults her. And first I was like, oh, he's being smart because he knows that Keyleth is ready to kill Kima at his behest.
He can tell it, he can smell it like a weak spot, you know? He can sense an in.
Because sometimes the 22 wisdom score doesn't do what it should.
Nope.
Sometimes it just doesn't.
Yep. And Tiberius texts his brother.
Yes. This is the first time we see him trying to invoke his background to solve a problem.
Yep. He doesn't know whether his brother... Do you think that's why he has so many siblings?
I don't know.
Just to, solve a wide variety of problems.
I think he thinks warlock is another word for wizard.
It's
not. Witch is like a female version of wizard, which it's also technically not.
Yes. A girl wizard is just if anything, wizard and witch are not genders. They're sort of like professions.
We are.
Anyway.
I think they're more like styles. We are supportive of girl wizards and boy witches and also anything in between.
Yes, male wife.
Or beyond.
Girl boss. The genders are male wife and they are girl boss and male and boy wizard and girl witch. and girl wizard and boy witch. And, agender warlock.
Also, a joke I'm very sad about, we are also in support of he-them lesbians and heathen lesbians. Different things, both very important.
Yes, with a great overlap, actually.
Actually, yes!
Heathen lesbians. Anyway. We're trying very hard to avoid talking about.
We're so out of things to talk about, aren't we? Have talked about literally nothing else. But
nothing.
There's nothing else to talk about!
Scanlan tries to wingman.
Oh. Can we go back to talking about Tiberius?
No, we have to talk about it.
Then you talk about it.
Scanlan tries to enter Kima's brain to try to wingman for Grog, and obviously, because there's this... By the way, he does this multiple times throughout the campaign. It never works. Yeah. It never once works.
Like a running gag.
I think it technically once works, and it's not about, Grog, he just wipes Kima's brain once.
I think I remember that working, but I also remember him just bashing his head in after he did it. Yes.
That also happened. I'm not sure if it's because it worked or because it faded. I'm not quite sure.
I know Raishan does it successfully, but Raishan deserves to.
Yes, just know that this does not work for Kima. Kima is not the person who you try to mind wipe. He's not a fan of it.
No. Her wisdom saving throws are okay. Is this wisdom? Is it charisma? Either way,
no. This is like how Kima has these things that I guess they're just like roles that work very well for her characterization. Like, Kima hates flying enemies. Kima has never successfully fought against a flying enemy. Kima also, you just cannot it is incredibly hard to cast mind wipe spells on her, or any mind control spells.
What is easy to do to Kima is petrify her.
Yes. But just like what happens in a future episode, she threatens very much that if he ever does that again, she will destroy his dick and balls.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her.
Do us all a service, prevent all the will handle dance from happening.
Yes. Destroy his dick and balls, please. So, after that horrible, horrible thing, there's a bathroom break.
Uh-huh. Yay, we take bathroom breaks.
Woo! The last time that we will get, or at least supposedly, based on what they say, the last time that we'll get, like, that character intro.
Really?
Well, apparently, they say in the beginning that they're probably not going to do those in the beginning of the episodes anymore. I think they also kind of stopped to do them in the middle. But I could be wrong.
No, they still do those in the middle. They do it in this episode in the middle. They just don't, like... Matt is like, we're just going to take a short break, so they only make it to Scanlan's character intro, which is how we see a picture of goblins when he talks about his mother's death, and not her name, and a picture of, I think tiefling women who are all have very boring human skin tones, which I understand is Player's Handbook code form, but who is, like... Do you know
Dragon Age
personally
thing?
anyone... What? No. Do you personally know anyone who has played a tiefling that had just a regular human skin tone?
No, just like I don't know any tieflings played by straight people.
Jury's still out on that one.
Jury's still out on that one, but I do know that there's a majority there.
I found the exception to both rules.
Oh, do you know somebody who's straight and plays a regular skin tone tiefling?
I think the tiefling had a regular skin tone. I can't comment on the other one because it's a person I know in real life and that's a little uncomfortable.
Oh, I see.
Not the one listening to this, by the way.
Hi.
They are also playing a tiefling with an unnatural skin color.
Hello, LGBTQ community. Scientific.
Hello, Kay?
Grog with real.
What?
Oh, sorry, actually, first thing, after we come back from break, is Tiberius's brother calls back and is like, shit out of luck, bro.
Yeah, just, I can't Google that name right now, sorry.
I'm doing other things. Also, the reception is really bad because you're underground, so, like...
Yeah, Grog has dug a ditch and is now doing the bit that Keyleth did, and they are being very cute with each other.
They sure are. They have fun together.
Yeah, and then Keyleth goes to scry on Kvarn, so nrav'K is finally revealed.
Which is sure something that they could have done earlier.
Could have. You really think that's funny, don't you?
What?
nrav'K.
No, I was thinking that they could have done this earlier, huh?
I could have. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could have saved us a lot of episodes.
Oh yeah.
I just scrying.
Oh yeah. So she scries on the pyramid with the flattened out top,
which I think is a ziggurat.
You think we can safely say that between this and the next time it comes up, Matt has looked up the word ziggurat and he's using it accordingly.
Good.
Wonderful. It is the...
Sigil.
It is the one thematic thing keeping us all together.
It sure is. That and Ayun.
No, I think the ziggurats are always for Ayun.
Yes, Ayun just is a big fan of those.
Oh yeah.
That shape.
Yeah, so
she scries and she sees Kvarn.
And Kvarn is... Spoiler warning. A beholder!
A beholder! This is in the, this is before they, stop being really threatened by beholders and start fighting them as, like...
Have they ever fought a beholder again after this?
Yes, they did. Remember?
Really?
And, it is a very special episode called The Sunken Tomb.
Oh! Did Kima get petrified in that one?
Yeah, no, but she did get thrown into a pit.
Right, that's right. Oh boy, oh god. How did I forget that one?
Yeah, because they kill that beholder, like, super easily. Remember? With, Zara does, like, a thing. It's like a writhing tentacles and...
Okay, listener, I have been between storms since Friday. And now we've reached a storm that is named after... Well, okay, it feels mean to call a person who was literally 10 years old at the time, a backstabbing bitch, but she did abandon our long-established friend group for cooler friends in 4th grade, so I feel like justified in saying that. And this storm might be named after her.
Oh no!
Yes, I was also 10 years old.
Yes, if you were also 10 years old, you get to call her a bitch. Wouldn't that just be it?
Yeah.
If that's the storm that does damage.
Uh-huh. I mean, there was also a girl in my next class after that with the same name who was also kind of...
Sometimes just names. Just like, every Derek that I've met has been a dick.
I had one too.
Was he a dick?
Not a Derek, but like a name that always...
Just always a dick.
Yeah. Which one was it? Oh! Mark with a C.
Oh, Mark with a C is such a good dick name. Like, Mark with a C.
Yes.
Fucking asshole.
Yes.
Who do you think you are, Mark with a C? Put a K at the end of that, you little bitch. Anyway, Keyleth sure knows about beholders.
Yeah, she just knows everything about beholders without having to roll for it, which, Matt lets happen. But fine.
Whatever. I'm not.
Whatever.
Listen, of all the things, I'm not gonna be resentful of things that Keyleth is allowed to get away with without a roll, because, like, there's so much that she has to work for. Oh
god, so much that is just denied her.
Yes. That she could reasonably just know that, like, whenever she does one of these things, and, like, that this is the exception. This is the exception, not the rule. Keyleth gets to have a little knowledge about beholders as a treat. It's also very fun because at some point Matt just erases the campaign guide. It's like, this one. This.
Yes. This is a beholder. It's on the cover of the monster manual and everyone is like,
oh shit. That guy. I didn't know that guy was real.
Yeah, because they already put the dragon in the player's handbook.
Orion immediately loses his whole entire shit.
Oh yeah, Orion just declares this over. He's not fighting a beholder. And, spoiler alert, yeah, he kinda won't be.
Yep, he won't be fighting a beholder. Don't worry about that, Orion.
Yeah. Too bad I kind of have to blame Percy and Vex for this, because technically the whole freeing the Elder Brain and getting the Illithid to fight for you and against Gavarn is their idea.
Yeah, Percy, I love Percy. Percy, this is... I made a note of this when I was watching the episode. Like, this is the introduction of Percy, of planning Percy, which is the thing that I always say, like, Percy thinks he's very good at plans, and Taliesin wants him to be, but he's not good at plans. He's really not. He
thinks he's planning, then Vex has a thing and he's like, yes, that!
That. Like,
every time.
Yeah, he's so sweet.
Except for that one time where Cash is in the mix, and Cash is like, so here is how battle planning actually works. And then you can see that Taliesin is trying so hard to bullshit his way out of that one. It's amazing.
And it's trying. I really like it as a character trait that Percy wants to be very good at planning. He's not. He's really...
I kind of relate to that, like...
Oh yeah, this is how I feel whenever there's a puzzle. I'm really, really bad at puzzles.
Yes! That's how I feel about chess. Like, my identity as a kid was so tied to being a smart girl, and I fucking hate chess.
Chess sucks.
It doesn't really suck, but I'm just bad at it, because I feel like I should be good at it, and then it's just,
Yeah.
And I think that's how Percival de Rolo is with coming up with battle plans.
Yeah, he just thinks that he should be good at it, and insists, and, like, really, really tries, and, like, he's not. Like, I think his plan is like, we could use this one vial of acid,
which we don't even definitively know if it is acid yet,
to pour on the temple so that it'll, like, collapse through
on the beams on the temple and free the Elder Brain without smushing it or something and destroy the entire building. And Chloroda is apparently very opposed to having his holy space destroyed.
Yes, and also, baby, I don't think that's no. No. And, like, to be honest, this is also Vex's plan. She thinks that Scanlan should be able to, like, dimension door and, like, hug the beams and teleport them out, and he's like, no, I can't do that. Yeah,
and then they try to come up with, like, a corrosive spell that would age the beams or something that I don't think exists.
No. They abandoned
this.
There's
the thingy, the not evaporate, but, like, disintegrate. That's a disintegrate spell, but I don't think they have access to that one yet.
Anyway, Chloroda is very much just like, don't do this.
This is stupid. We sealed this. Our temple will not be destroyed by acid.
And also, even if it couldn't be destroyed by acid, I would rather you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, literally our entire civilization and culture is stored in that elder brain. Could you try not to get acid on it?
Could you not get acid on the elder brain, please? Thank you.
I kind of want that. Our deal was that I get to be back in there.
He really wants to get in that elder brain. Guess you could say that Clarota wants that elder brain. I don't know what I was going for with that. I think I was trying to make a dirty joke.
Don't worry about it. So they end up doing a reconnaissance mission with the twins and Scanlan for some fucking reason on the carpet, which now has a little cloaker skin attached to it, so now it's stealthy.
Yes, because Percy's having a mad scientist kind of day.
He is. And I mean, this is, again, the first actual solid idea they've come up with on how to make their flying stealthy.
Yeah, it doesn't work, but it's a good idea.
Yeah. They see some fungus trees, and Clarota is like, oh yeah, we feed our slaves to the spores or something.
Oops.
Which is yet another not subtle hint that maybe Clarota is not the most morally upstanding citizen.
Do you think the problem is that they assume that, Matt assumes that they will immediately be, turned off by the idea of slavery, except for the fact that, Tiberius's family is also doing that?
I'm just so happy we never had to deal with this.
Thank God.
God. Imagine explaining to Orion that his character's family is full of slavers, and maybe that is bad.
Maybe this is bad, actually.
And then inner party so many bullets. We dodged so many bullets. Oh God.
So many bullets.
So many.
Anyway.
This is also why I'm perfectly in favor of letting him get away with just throwing out spell slots and sorcery points one after another, because arguing with him about the mechanics is
it's not worth it.
Spare us.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Kenneth is very cute about being sad about the trees being bad.
Yeah. Cheeky.
Travis, who has the highest wisdom score of the cast, apparently, because he's been writing I Don't Trust Clarota in his notes for 5 episodes or so, by now. It has the unforgettable and very accurate line of, don't skip on the details, it's just our lives.
Yep. Good job, Travis.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why they elected him CEO.
You've written here, quote-unquote, wandering spores sounds like an allergy.
Allergy nightmare.
Sounds like an allergy nightmare? Yes, an allergy nightmare. It does sound like an allergy nightmare.
This is how I die.
And also very insanitary. You've died to the wandering spores?
Yes. At least right now, pollen will just indiscriminately rain down on me outside, but what if it was sentient and could walk and follow me inside? This is how I die.
Yes, no, this is bad.
Yes. Clarota then does Grog is like, oh, Clarota, your voice sounds a little strange. Do you want some ale? And instead of saying, I talk to you telepathically, you. I don't drink, he just wastes the ale and pours it on the ground, which, maybe that's when Travis decided not to trust Clarota, to be fair. Maybe.
Travis like, I had my suspicions, but it was when he poured the ale that tipped me off.
Yep, maybe this
is... It's also just making a mess. Just don't do this.
This is just rude. He just wasted resources.
It's rude. It's wasted resources. I'm just gonna have to mop that up, Clarota.
I mean, they're still outside, so nobody's going to have to do that. It's just gonna be some very funny growth in a century or so. Maybe the spore people like it. Who knows?
Maybe the spore people will become much more calm and fun once they drink the ale.
Yeah.
Scanlan is being dragged into a stealth mission once again.
Yeah, he casts invisibility and promptly rolls a 3 with advantage. I mean, it's a 13, 15-ish, because pass without a trace, which I don't think should work when you're on a carpet. You're not passing, you're not leaving traces, you're flying.
I don't know. I feel like I don't agree with that, just because of the way that Flavor has described Pass Without a Trace in the past is more like the kind of shadows wrapping around you and kind of kind of cloaking you. So I think that if anything, it would make sense when you're on a carpet, because it's kind of making you look more like a shadow.
You just turn into a big dark cloud.
Yes, a big dark cloud, exactly.
You can interpret it that way, I suppose, but to me it kind of sounds like something you do when walking on the ground.
Yeah, I can understand. It depends on, like...
In addition to being tied to classes like Ranger and Druid, who are also usually not airborne.
That's true. An airborne druid, yeah.
I mean, druids are occasionally airborne.
A surface-to-air druid.
Yeah, okay. Druids can very frequently be airborne. I redact that.
I know what you mean, like, in terms of, like, they will turn into something that can fly, but I am just imagining, like propellers coming out of Keyleth and just going, like, and she just, like, takes off like a drone.
Oh.
Okay. Sad buildings. They go into the Elephant City.
Sort of. They get close to it, see some sad buildings, and then the stealth roll unfortunately does nothing to hide their smell. Which is not strawberries after 1 week of Underdark. Take
me down to Elephant City. The smells are bad and the giants have titties.
Yeah, you just go on rhyming city with city.
I said excuse you, because what I said was the giants have titties.
Oh!
I said, and I will be quoted, I will not have words put in my mouth. What I said was, take me down to Elephant City, where blah blah blah, and the giants have titties. Well, the smells are bad, and the giants have titties.
Okay, I heard you say city twice, but I will give this to you.
Thank you.
You are welcome, but you have also spoiled that they have now been discovered by a giant. I think like 3 in total or something. Anyways, giant smells them, is like, hello there, and the episode is over. Whoa!
Q&A time! Actually, first they do a bunch of donations, but then they do a Q&A, which we already talked about, so we can move on to, thank God, the final part of this episode.
Whoa! We're done! Woo. We've talked 2 hours about nothing!
So let's rate this bad boy.
Alright, gang. It is time for the Purvan Scale.
Hyper good.
I'm sorry, Kay.
Super good.
No control over what she does.
Motherfucker. Super intense, high intensity team. Purvan Scale.
That feels like a backhanded insult.
Okay. Because I implied that it was a shit scale?
Yes, you did. I mean, it's your scale, so whatever.
It's my good scale. I like this scale. Let's rate this. Let's begin.
It's the one gimmick we have.
And we're sticking to it.
It's gonna stay at least until we actually get to Purvan in 5 years. Do you think we will have finished our studies and have jobs by then?
I sure hope so. So what does the P in Purvan stand for?
It stands for pizzazz, and, okay.
I think...
Okay.
Matt has a cloak.
Is this a positive or a negative?
Yes, it's a positive. Excuse you, I love the cloak.
Okay.
I would die for the cloak.
I like the mini conga line.
I might give this like a slight docking just because I don't like the new... I don't like that they tried to hide their shame with the new thumbnail.
Yeah. They hide their shame and they're also bad at categorizing arcs.
Yes.
We will go over this as soon as we finally reach the end of this arc. It is in sight. I can see it.
We can see the light at the end of the Underdark.
There's a beholder at the end of the tunnel.
This just goes to say, actually, I'll keep that for the opinion at the end of the episode, but for the pizzazz, I'm leaning towards 1 point.
Sure. You know what? Make it 2 points. I like the mini conga line on the thing, and also I've noticed that they don't have the Twitch chat and frame anymore. They only have character cards and sometimes the map cam.
2 points.
2 points. Woo.
The
Moving
U
on.
In Purvan stands for uncomfortableness.
And the points are gone. Thanks, Scanlan.
The points are gone.
And
thanks, fucking Scanlan, for that fucking brainwashing thing. That sucked.
That sucked.
So -2?
Sure. We're back to 0.
Back to 0.
R is for role-playing realness. Did we have any of that? Okay, We have to give an honorary point to Percy.
I mean, I want to give... Yeah.
For being here.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Like, Percy is awake, Percy is conscious, Percy
He's
is
awake,
sassy.
he's alert, he's positive though it hurts.
Yeah, there's a pulse. We found a pulse.
He's a sassy bitch, and that is worth a point. 1 point.
1 point. A V in Purvan stands for vexiness.
Which, like, with Percy being alive, there's some cute banter moments where they just do, like, planning stuff together.
Yeah, that's... It's kind of like a cumulative effect, isn't it? Because, like, as mentioned in the Q&A, the whole thing with Taliesin is that his favorite character class is Laura Bailey. So, it means that there's always, like, whenever he's, like, kind of awake and
positive though it hurts.
Engaging, like, he often engages with Laura's characters and often engages with Vex specifically.
Because somebody has to.
Someone has to. So there's, like, some fun banter, and also, like, Vex gets to have a couple of, like, leader moments. So it's not a lot of points, but I do think it's on negative. Half point.
Half a point. 1.5 points.
1.5.
The A is for action.
Oh, God.
Okay, so the combat was irrelevant but brief.
Yeah, but there's like 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of exterminate the Grick thing without a real fight scene.
It's just I don't know. I didn't really enjoy the combat in this episode. I felt like it was like being on the world's shittiest roller coaster. And it's just like,
Oh, it's still go. Oh, we go again. Oh, yeah, this might as well happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much do you want to subtract?
Like 1 point.
Half a point it is.
Finally, the N in Purvan stands for nonsense.
I think this is applicable.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's finally applicable.
It is. We can finally subtract points for this one too.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of nonsense in this episode. Like, they acknowledge it themselves. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, several times, and if Grog is like, we don't have to explore every cave, you know something is going on.
Yes. So how much
something
do you want
bad.
How much do you want to subtract for this one?
1.5
1.5. I was leaning towards 2, so I'll take 1.5. It just feels like it's a little
wonderful.
It's not quite character revealing either. Like, if it was kind of character revealing nonsense, I would enjoy it.
We're just exploring random caves.
Yeah. It's...
For no good reason.
This is the Gulliver's Travels episode.
Yeah, so, like, okay, that means we're at -1 point.
-1 point. I'm okay with that.
That feels accurate. Like, this episode is basically, like, in the grand scheme of things, is it the worst thing to ever happen? No.
Let me edit.
Does it have enjoyable moments? Yes.
Is there anything else we want to say about this episode? Did you enjoy it?
Occasionally?
Yeah, I didn't find it insufferable.
I mean, we are fresh off of episode 7, so our bullshit tolerance is high.
Yeah, I just found it to be, like, it's not offensive background noise half the time.
The most enjoyable thing about this episode is that we're doing it for the first time.
Yes, which helps a lot. We're much more forgiving.
These notes are new and fresh. This is a whole new beginning.
It's beautiful. It's sexy. I have a...
And we are almost out of the Underdark.
So close.
So close.
Thank you very much to Lafia for our cover art.
Thank you to Current Sun for our music.
Thank you to our lovely patrons. And thank you.
We still have 2 at the time. Thank you, dear listener, for being here with us throughout 10 episodes.
Yay.
Which 5 have been published at time of recording.
Yay.
If you would like to show us your support and undying loyalty, we have a Patreon where you can listen to the teased episodes about Vex and supplementary materials, and also, presumably, at the time of publishing this, to a special episode where we go very in-depth about the legend of Vox Machina.
Yes.
We would also be very much obliged to you if you would be so kind as to like, comment, subscribe, rate us on whatever podcasting app you're on, follow us on the Twitter and the Tumblr.
Recommend it to your friends.
Links are everywhere. Recommend us to your friends or your enemies. We don't really care.
We don't judge.
To storms named after your elementary school nemesis.
Is that the name of the episode? Storms named after your elementary school nemesis?
No.
Okay, you'll think of a name.
I'll come up with the name of the episode in a year when we publish this, darling.
20 years when we have when we've all grown beards to represent the time has passed. What?
Oh God.
So before we wrap up,
oh God,
what is our opinion this episode?
There's a light at each end of this tunnel, you shout, 'cause you're just as far in as you'll ever be out.
I actually have one for this time, which is,
good!
Just remember that light at the end of the tunnel, just remember that the light at the end of the tunnel might just be a beholder.
But it's still an end to the tunnel.
It's still an end to the tunnel, baby!
It's an end one way or the other.
Thank you for listening to Critical Rollback. I've been Bal.
Woo! I've been Jana.
Let's hope so.
What are you doing?
Bye! Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Love you.